I want ours. I think the idea.
Okay. Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Everybody. I don't cough too much. Okay. We're going to go into the portion of Vayetzia. This is a very classical sikha, one of the classical sikhas of the Rebbe in his teachings of what he wanted from Klal Yisrael, from Yidden, from the Chassidim, and why he was successful in many ways, because this is what he demanded upon his Chassidim, and I believe this is what he demanded upon Klal Yisrael, and how he learned the Parsha in a certain kind of a way. Let's learn this sikha together. Again, I hope I can give this over correctly, because it's a very, in one hand, it's very simple, but on the other hand, it's extremely a deep concept. It's something that affects us all. So let's go to Parshas Vayetzia. We're holding in the book over here. I hope you have the book. If you don't have the book, you should get this book. It's hard to give this class without this book. So we're holding in text number 1A, page number 122 in your book. We are this week's Parsha. We are introduced to Yaakov Avinu. Comes to Lavan. You should realize when it comes to Lavan, he's 77 years old. He's not a spring chicken. He's 77 years old. That means when he leaves this week, when he leaves at the end of the Parsha, he's already, it's 14 years later, 91 years old. 22. No, he was away from his father's house for 22 years. But he was by Lavan for 14 years. So he went to, so he actually, yeah. So he's not a young man. He does, that's why he establishes his mishpacha in Lavan's house. He establishes his family, 12 tribes, and he has his son from Rachel. He says to her the following way: Hika shayolda Yirachel Yisesef. When Rachel had Yosef, he says, "Vayemi Yaakov Lavan." Yaakov says to Lavan, "Shalcheni, it's time to go home." This was supposed to be a short visit, supposed to be originally 7 years, turned into 14 years. It's time to go home. Time to go to my parents' home. Yitzchak and Rivka, they were still alive. So I need to go home. Give me my wives and my children. Says, I'm going to take my wife and my children and I'll go. Because you know well the service that I rendered to you. So basically, he hadn't paid him 14 years because that was the deal, right? He worked 14 years for these two women, Rachel and Leah. He hadn't been paid. The man worked for 14 years as a shepherd. As the Torah says, he worked days and nights. He worked very hard, wasn't paid a penny. Why should I continue working? Time to go home. I did my job. I did my responsibility. I did what I was supposed to do. It's time to go home. So it's okay. But go that you're going to come back to my sister empty-handed. That's going to be a little bit embarrassing. I need to pay you something. I need to pay you. We need to figure out a way that you come back with something. It's embarrassing. You've been here 14 years, but you worked hard and you come back with nothing. So we need to figure out a way to pay you, right? So Lavan says to him, if I found favor in your eyes, indulge me, for God has blessed me in your account. Name the wages due for me, and I'll pay you. Right? And in today's chitas, Yaakov says to Lavan, I don't want any money from you. We'll make the deal. I make a ganze maisa with the sheep, and we'll separate the spotted sheep and the this and that, and we will. I'll get paid with the sheep, right? And the Eibishter blesses him, and he has an abundance of sheep. The verse says, "Vayifres ich ma'od ma'od." The man prospered a lot. By he soin rabbis. He had an abundance of sheep. And now she says, soin rabbis in text number 1D. Now she says, large flock, not just in quantity, but in quality. This was, he had flock that the whole world wanted. Everybody wanted his flock. His flock was big, these big sheep. And everybody wanted, they were fruitful, the multiply more than other animals. So everybody wanted it. And therefore, that's how he had maidservants and manservants and maidservants, because he would sell his animals at a high price and purchase and that's it. He became wealthy. So in a short time, he amassed an extremely amount of wealth. You listen to today's reading of the Torah, today's chitas, you see there's a connection between Yaakov and sheep. And sheep, he's very involved with sheep. He's extremely involved with sheep. And the question is asked, why is Yaakov so involved with sheep? Connection to sheep so much out of any other animals. Patriarchs, shepherds. We see the patriarchs are all shepherds. We see the Shvatim were shepherds. We see that David HaMelech, Moshe Rabbeinu was a shepherd. We see that David HaMelech was a shepherd with sheep. We call God, you are a shepherd, right? Connection. What is this relationship between the patriarchs and sheep and the and God, the Jewish people that you're going to soon see are called sheep? What is this? What is our connection to sheep? And comes even more because we see later in next week's Parsha, again, we see when Yaakov comes back to the land of Eretz Yisrael, he's has this encounter with Esau, right? He's going to have this meeting together with Esau. He's meeting his brother. And he tells him, over there, he tells him something else. You look at the verse in text number 2a, page 124. Over there, he says to Esau, I've acquired oxen, donkeys, sheep, maidservants, menservants, and maidservants. Over there, why does it say, I've acquired a lot of sheep? If he's so involved with sheep, and that's where he received all his wealth, is from sheep, why is suddenly, when a couple of months later, on his way back to Eretz Yisrael, he suddenly forgets about the sheep? He puts the oxes and the donkeys, and then he says sheep. We see it even in the way he sent it to Esau. We see he says, Ezim is saying, he sends 200 she-goats, 20 he-goats, 200 ewes, and 20 rams. So he sends the goats, 30 camels, the young, 40 cows, 10 bulls, 20 she donkeys, and 10 he donkeys. He puts the sheep suddenly in between the other group of animals. If we are if Yaakov Avinu, his wealth is from sheep in this week's Parsha, why wouldn't he send Esau sheep? But he wanted to buy his sheep. Why wouldn't he send Esau sheep? I'm thinking that who cares? What is it so important to tell them? What is it is so important? Why do we need to have? Why is anybody worried that that's a problem? We're not shepherds. We're not so involved in animals. But the patriarchs were involved in them. They were shepherds. We know Yosef HaTzadik, when his brothers come to Mitzrayim, he tells them, tell Pharaoh you're shepherds. Don't tell him you're warriors. Tell him you're shepherds. You're busy with sheep. You're busy with animals. You're not busy with people. You're busy with animals. You're shepherds. We're shepherds. As I said, Moshe Rabbeinu was shepherds. But seemingly in this Parsha, for sure, and today's Chitas, if you learn today's Chitas, we know that Yaakov Avinu was extremely connected to sheep. We should know, it's not mentioned over here, but Rachel is a sheep. Her name is a sheep. Yaakov is Rachel. Yaakov Avinu loved Rachel. Some people say because he loved sheep. Sheep. That was seeming something special to see. The Rebbe and Chassidus is going to go a little bit on the sheep journey. Okay, we're going to all become farmers here in the lesson of sheep. What is so special about sheep? What is the difference between sheep and a bull or an ox or a goat? Why is sheep so important? That the Jewish people are, as you'll soon see, the Jewish people are compared to sheep. They're peaceful. You know, I was once in Israel and on a trip with a group, and one of the things we came to I don't know, some place, and there was they were going to try to teach us how to be shepherds. The sheep were running after me. I wasn't running after the sheep. But what?
I thought the dog does all the work.
No.
I was a shepherd when I was a little.
Oh yeah. So if you're a shepherd, then there's something special between the shepherd and the sheep.
Mm-hmm.
Some unique relationship, right? So we have somebody here who can maybe fill in the blanks. So let's see how the Torah says it. We see in the Torah this relationship. So let's go to sheep mode. What is the sheep mode? What is the meaning of a sheep? What is the meaning, the Torah, that we call God our shepherd? What is the meaning that the Eibush our shepherd, and we're his sheep? We say expression, he is our father, right? In text number 3, the Medrash says, in Shir HaShirim, the Medrash says, he is a father to me, and I am his son. He is a father to me, as the passage says, for you are our father, for I was a father to, the Torah says, I'm a father to Israel. And I am his son, as the Torah says, my son, my firstborn Israel. You are all sons of God. So we have this relationship, God and us, as a father and son. We have this father and son relationship. Okay, that's one way. And then he says to me as a shepherd, as the passage attests, hear, O shepherd of Israel. I am to him as sheep. The pasuk says, and you are my sheep, the sheep of my flock. So the Yidden are sheep, and God is the shepherd. One of the beautiful songs that I love on Yom Kippur is the song Ki Yanu Amecha. And one of the things, one of the expressions there is Ki Yanu Tzeinecha V'Atareinu. We are your sheep, and you are our shepherd. So we don't say we are a cow and you are the farmer. We say we are sheep and you are the shepherd. There's a concept, there's two aspects of a relationship between God and us. God is our king. There's many different other expressions. God is our king and we are his servants. God is our father. We are his children. God is a shepherd and we are his flock. We are his sheep. And the answer that's given in Chassidus, what is the connection between sheep and a shepherd, is the one very powerful word that Chassidus demands of all of us. And that is bittul. Bittul means
No.
surrender. Surrender. Bittul. Nullification. Surrender. Surrender. The relationship between a shepherd and a sheep is that the sheep surrender to the shepherd. They become part of his existence. They follow him. Am I correct? No, I'm not a shepherd. They were not following me when I was up there. So, it was probably, and the shepherd was angry. He said, "You have to be a shepherd." So I said, "I think I'll give the job to you. You'll be the shepherd, and I'll stay the rabbi." The Rebbe says in text number 4, the Rebbe says, look at the word, calling Jews children demonstrates that we are independent of the Father. We're children. That's like any child is a child of his parents, but he's dependent, independent. I mean, the very word child connotates a separate being who's not the parent, that it's valued and loved by the parent. However, with respect to God, who transcends all creation, nothing exists outside of him. Relative to God, Jews and the God's love for them is like, we're more like sheep. There's more the concept of bittul, this concept of surrender, who despite all their attractive features have no comparative value to the shepherd. Portraying Jews as sheep presents a Jew in a sublime light. Although nothing in all existence has comparative value to God, the Jew nevertheless beloved by God like a shepherd to his sheep. Except that on this level, we are not beloved for who we are beloved for our complete surrender to God. God is our shepherd, and we are his sheep. Bittul can be called nullification, humility, docile, submissiveness, self-negation, self-effacement. It's very hard to express what bittul means, what bittul really means. Bittul. I gave you a bunch of words to the word bittul, but it's not really the meaning of bittul, because these are all expressions of a negative expression. And bittul is not a negative thing in Torah.
Really?
No.
How do you say the Jewish people do bitul? This is the opposite.
I don't understand this. Let's try to understand it. What means bittul? What means bittul?
You use it as bitul.
Right, so that's a negative word, but I'm talking in the positive. Bittul alakus, to be nullified to godliness, humility. Humility. But being humble is sometimes also being meek. I don't know, humble is also, people take it in a negative way. At bittul, the surrender of a sheep to the shepherd, in this concept. Let's go further. The Mittel Rebbe, the second Lubavitcher Rebbe, also tried to explain the concept of sheep. And again, I'm not a shepherd, so you'll tell me if this is correct. Sheep are more utterly submissive than other animals. Though an ox is primed for the yoke, it's also gores. There are also occasional wayward cows and calves. Goats also gore with their horns, etc. Sheep, however, are soft in nature and submissive to all. For example, when the shearer approaches, the sheep allows itself to be shorn without a shred of resistance. Is that true? As it's written, silent like sheep before, it's a pasuk in the Torah, it's not going to be not true. silent like sheep before shears. He never opens his mouth in protest. Again, I'm now going to go look up. I'm going to go Google. I'm going to go to YouTube and see sheep being sheared. Might be that doesn't change that it might be stressful for them, but the question is, do they fight? I don't know. Do they have to be tied up? Do they have to do they give themselves over to the shearing? Again,
They just stand it.
I what?
They just stand it. And you.
So there's a pasuk in the Torah. I mean, I don't know. The verse says in Isaiah later that the karachel. Do you see the word actually karachel? Do you see the word in Isaiah karachel? That's Rachel is a sheep. You don't see it in English, but you look in the Hebrew box. Karachel of gizeh, like a sheep. Rachel.
Why was Rachel like a sheep? And also, why would the Egyptians have made the sheep their god if it was so passive?
Well, that's okay. The first question, Rachel. That's why, in essence, we're going to, according to this, that's why Rachel, Yaakov loved Rachel, because she was beauty in the inside and in the outside. She was Yefet. Rashi said Yefet matter. She was beautiful on the inside and on the outside. She had total bittul. She was like a sheep. Why did Mitzrayim make the sheep their god? That's a good question. We'll have to come back for that one. So first of all, the Mitzrayim had many gods, not only the sheep, but yeah.
But I don't understand why being beautiful on the inside and on the outside makes a person bittul. What's the connection?
Beautiful on the inside means that a person is totally. We'll soon see. Let's first understand what bittul means. So then you'll understand it better. Here you see it openly. Kerachel. First of all, this class is not about Rachel, so I'm sorry for getting in chanted about Rachel. This is not the Rebbe does not mention here about Rachel. That was my throwing in the word Rachel. The Rebbe does not mention here about Rachel. But and I said the Yaakov Rachel. That's not the Rebbe. You're not going to see any mention here about Rachel. But I don't want to go into Rachel. That the class is not about Rachel. The class is about humility, the nature of a sheep. That's it. And why Yidden are compared to sheep. And why we call God as our shepherd and we are his sheep. And that's why Yaakov was involved with sheep. That's really the class. More than about Rachel. What was Rachel? That's not it's not a class separate. Okay. Oh, very good. That's the class. So now we'll get to that. That's the class. So why didn't he want to give it to Esau? Good. That's part of the class. So let's talk about bittul. Let's go. The class continues about bittul. So the Rebbe, look at the words of the Rebbe, because bittul, bittul nullification sounds negative. Because it's the opposite of the way we're brought up. With the opposite, we have to be out there, we have to be outspoken, we have to be big shots. And that's the way the world teaches us, that we should be out there, we shouldn't become meek and hide. And be hide ourselves and hide out who we are. The opposite, and the truth is, it should be. We should be proud of who we are. We should stand out. We should demonstrate if something is bad. That's the opposite of bittul, seemingly. So, how do you put the two together? How do you put the meekness of a sheep and together with Jewish pride? How do you mix the two? How do you put the two together? Because the truth is that episode we don't understand. You have to really comprehend the word bittul. What is the meaning of bittul? What is the chassidus? What the Torah wanted with bittul? So the Rebbe tries to explain the word bittul. And watch it, we're holding text, text 6, okay? Text 6, page 130. Many people equate humility with inferiority, that you're inferior. You're humble, why? Because you're nothing. It's so great. Don't be so humble, you're not so great. That's an expression. Don't be so humble, you're not so great. So therefore, we tell a person, you're not so great, be humble. Up in the crowd when you're acting like this big guy, you be humble. You're not so great, right? So that's a big mistake. Big mistake. It's not inferiority. Means to know oneself, ourselves, and to recognize our inferior value compared to others. Meaning that we are truly devoid of value. Or if we have value, it's unknown to us. Humility, this is inferiority. So when a person feels low, he has problem. When a person feels he's lower than somebody else, that he's stupider than somebody else, that he's less valuable than somebody, then you have an inferior complex. You have a problem. You have an issue with what you feel about yourself. Has nothing to do with humility. That's not humility. That's inferiority complex. A person that basically feels that he is lower than another person, than any person. And we have this inferior complex. We feel that why should we want to say something? I'm nothing in comparison to the other guy. Why should I be the one to do anything? I'm nothing in comparison to that other person. We have a problem that we look negative about ourselves. We look down on ourselves. We have an inferiority complex. We have a complex that we're inferior to other people. It's a big problem. A lot of people have this problem. And they're depressed, brings depression, it brings negative depression, it brings suppression. It brings terrible things. Inferiority complex, and people feel that they're inferior to anybody else. But that's not humility. We try to bring holiness into it, so we say, "Oh, I'm humble." Not humble. It's actually ego. You learn Chassidus, it's ego. It's you believe that why I'm being suppressed by somebody else. Or by God. God is giving me this inferior complex. God is suppressing me. So why do good things happen to bad people? Or why do bad things happen to good people? Authentic humility, and let's see if we can get this, means to be a person of strength. Such people know and recognize their value, and they are not haughty about it. They don't even give themselves credit for the strengths that they have, because they know they are exalted, that all their exalted strength and abilities are endowment by God, and that's humility. Humility means that I'm the most powerful person, but it's God who made me powerful. That's it. That's humility. Humility is that I'm talking better than you, but not because I'm better than you, because the Abishter gave me this talent. Therefore, not that you are better. The Abishter gave you talents, and He gave me talents, and each and every one of us has talents that God gave us. And when my talent is called for, it's time to stand up. Time to use the talent that God gave me for the right time in the right situation. And the Abishter demands that every one of us not to get an inferior complex, but to stand up. To stand up and use your talent for the sake of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, not for you, for the sake of God, for the sake of who gave you the talent. There's a famous song. Why I know this song, because I do funerals, and it's a mashagas. Like a funeral, I don't say it, but they put on this song. I did it my way. I don't know who sang it. Who sang it? Sinatra. I did it my way. It seems like people like that song, and they like to express that this person he did it his way. No, you did it God's way. I think sang this song. I don't know, whatever. They sing this song, they put this song on. I've many funerals, I've heard it. I did it my way. And this is supposed to be, no, you didn't do it your way. You should have a song, I did it God's way. That's what he did. He did what God wanted. He used his talents, godly talents. Wait, who gave him his talents? The Eibishter gave him the talents that he had. And Baruch Hashem, he wasn't influenced. I'm not saying that you shouldn't say that he did the right thing. He did the right thing, but he did it. He was not influenced by his friends. He wasn't influenced by his colleagues. He did it what he's supposed to do. He did what God wanted him to do. He did it with the talents that he had. He did what the Eibishter gave him to do. And he did it. No question about it. And he did it. But he did it because that was, Baruch Hashem, the talent that God gave him. And he used the talent for the sake of what he came to the world for. He did it his way. He did it God's way.
Frank Sinatra.
Okay, thank you. It's a great song. Did it my way. It's a mistake. Who has my way? What's my way? I have no my way. Every talent that I have, whether I'm a doctor, lawyer, rabbi, accountant, schlepper, garbage collector, every person has talents. The Eibishter gave him talents in this world. And he should use out his talents to his ultimate. This is what I'm telling you why the Rebbe, this is one of his classical things that he pushed, that we should go out all the way with whatever talent God gave us. You go out all the way. Don't use humility to become humble and say, oh, I'm inferior, I cannot do it, let somebody else do it. That's not humility. Then go to a doctor and get out of your inferior complex. You should use out your talent to the fullest, because Baruch Hashem, the Eibishter gave you a talent. God gave you a talent. Whatever the talent is, or capability, you don't use the word talent. God gave you a capability. He gave you certain capabilities. Use it out to the best. And there's always going to be a person who's going to challenge you. There's always going to be somebody who's going to make fun of you. There's always going to be a person who's going to laugh at you. You have humility. It's not about you. It's not about you. It's about the shepherd. The sheep that follows the shepherd. I'm buttoned to God. If God gave me this capability, I'm going to use it out to the best, to the ultimate, and I'm not going to be shy about it. I'm not going to be. I'm going to be proud of God's talents and God's capabilities that God gave me, and I'm going to bring it out into the open. But that takes us to go out of our comfort zone, because most of us like to be like the inferior complex. We like, for some reason, we're afraid of going out there. We're afraid of putting it out there. The Rebbe always say, we're coming close to Hanukkah. That's the story of Hanukkah, Presuming Esser, putting it out there, putting it outside, not hiding it inside. So that's why the Rebbe continues, Alter Rebbe brings down an Alter Rebbe statement. Tzoin, Yaakov Avinu was involved in tzoin. The Hebrew word for tzoin, sheep, is connected to the word tzei, someone who goes out. Tzei, go out. Why? So the Rebbe continues in 7b, because only this way of serving God, stepping out of your comfort zone, expresses a true surrender to God. Not doing it out of ego. You're not going out of your comfort zone. You're not doing what you're supposed to do because of yourself. You're doing it because that's the God-given talent God gave it to you. And if it's about Yiddishkeit, that's the Eibishter gave you that talent. Who made you a Yid? God made you a Jew. What are you embarrassed of it? It's a talent. It's a schus. You didn't choose to be a Jew. Yeah, why would a Jew hide a schus? Why would a Jew feel inferior to be open about it, to go? I know you're right. It's uncomfortable to go out. It's uncomfortable to stick out, but it's not about God and go out. Yeah, well, I hear. But they do. You have to always look at everything. There's a positive and a negative. You can't live in the world. I can take every word you have and I can use it in the positive and the negative. So you cannot. It's very hard to deal with it. We're using the positive. Here we're using the positive. We're not using the negative. You're right. So examples. Some people would say surrender is negative. It's not. It's everything has a positive and a negative. You can't. It will destroy the whole English language. I'll take every word and I'll tell you there's a positive and negative. Well, let's just get rid of it. It doesn't make sense. Yeah.
I think the aim for religion, Islam, or one of them means surrender.
So positive. They also surrender. If they have a person surrenders to their religion, it's a positive. There's nothing in negative.
I'm sure they got it from.
There's nothing wrong. But in essence, this surrender, the Rebbe wants to say that this surrender actually makes you who you are. So this surrender really brings out who you are. And who are you? That I'm a part of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'm a part of God's agenda. It's not my agenda. I'm not coming out with a menorah on my car because I want to Zalman book it. I want to pronounce Zalman book it. I want to pronounce the Nes, the miracle of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Not about me. It's about the Eibishter. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go. The Eibishter works through me to put it on my car. And maybe anger some Jews who don't like that it's on my car. But at least they think about Hanukkah for the moment. Yeah. Right, between humans. Very good. Very good. I like it.
Could you repeat that, please? Could you repeat it? We can hear.
I'll repeat it. Let her finish. Very good. So she answered. She said. So. Oh, we got it. We got this. So her answer was, and she's correct, that surrender to people is not the right word. So surrender, we're talking about to surrender to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So God is our shepherd and we are his sheep. I'm not a sheep to anybody but to God. He's my shepherd and I am his sheep. Actually, tzaddikim are called in the Zohar also shepherds. Moshe Rabbeinu was called the Raya Mehemna, the faithful shepherd. So Moshe Rabbeinu and Tzaddikim, the Rizal says, all Tzaddikim in all generation are called shepherds. And who are the sheep of that he's shepherding? Us. Jews so a tzaddik is sheep to shepherd. Jews to God is sheep to shepherd. Okay, let's continue. So God, the way we of serving God is not material self-serving. I'm holding page 131. Or even spiritual self-serving. It's purely to fulfill God's purpose. That's it. The Eibishter's purpose in the world is fulfilled through me. It's fulfilled through you. God needs you, so to say, to fulfill the purpose of creation. And he needs you, and he uses you, and you have the choice to either to let him be your shepherd, and to become part of God's agenda or not. God's agenda. I have my own agenda. I have my own agenda. God's agenda is a wonderful agenda, but I got my own agenda. The concept of here surrender is not to give in, it's to become part. That's a better word, right? It's not that you're nothing to become nothing. That bittul sounds like you're becoming nothing. No, it's actually becoming part of something. God.
Something greater than a.
Correct. Join the Eibishter. Don't become, God doesn't want you to become nothing, then he can't accomplish if you become nothing. If you become a schlepper, then the Eibishter cannot accomplish. What do you think God made Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Not only that they were spiritual giants, they were financial giants. The Torah itself says it. Rich. Because God understood that these people are going to use their finances for the purpose of why they need to use their finances, their power, and their wealth, and their, because they're going to use it l'shem shamayim. It became part of a godly agenda. That's why the Zohar says that the patriarchs were like a chariot. They were like a chariot. They were the chariot of God. They became a chariot. They became the conduit, the vessel, the avenue that God wanted to accomplish in the world. That's what God really asked from each and every one of us.
Well, is viewed as a negative. But we open heaven, so we enter
Correct.
God's wish.
Why? Because we want to be part of God. We want to be part of God's agenda. It's not that we're becoming slaves. We want to be a partner, actually, in God's agenda.
You don't know
If again, when you do it for the sake of heaven, do it for the sake of heaven. That's it. Not because you want to. It's your gain, my gain. It's God's gain. What is God's gain? What is God's gain? What is God gaining out of me in this world? Know what I'm gaining? What is God gaining? Is there a gain for HaKadosh Baruch Hu for me? Am I using my talents only for myself? Or am I using my talents for others? I can have a talent in music. I can sit and if I have a bad day, I can play music for myself. Or I can go and play music for others. I elevate myself and I elevate others. Lift myself, lift others. Talent in teaching. I teach others. More people should do that. The rabbi would always say, when a person would come and say, I'm not this rabbi, the rabbi would say, you know an aleph. Teach an aleph. There are thousands of Jews out there that don't know the letter aleph. Go out there and teach them the aleph base. You're talented, you know aleph base, and teach it to somebody else. That's what we all got to do. Oh, but I'm not. What do you mean you're nothing? And that's why in the beginning of Shulchan Aruch, it says right away, when you open up the book of Mishnah, and the Mishnah is brought on the Mishnah, it's brought on right away, the first Mishnah, the Mishnayos, Rabbi Yehuda, who said, Yehuda ben Tema, Os kanemer, you shall be as bold, brazen like a leopard, as light as an eagle, swift as a deer, as mighty as a lion. Feel the will. So there's no to be a sheep or to be a lion. If I'm doing it l'shem shamayim, if I'm doing it for the sake of heaven, then you need to be a lion. Then when there's a time to come to need to be a lion, be a lion. The time comes to be brazen, you be brazen. Of course, you're an egotistical, brazen guy. Because you're doing it for the sake of heaven. Yourself, you're doing what God to do. Therefore, it says, be brazen like a leopard, to stand firm for those who mock us. There's always, this is a Shulchan Aruch, self-understood. There's always, as I said before, anything you're going to want to go do good, trust me, somebody is going to challenge you. You'll always have a challenge right away.
Why?
Somebody's going to say, oh, you're an ego, you're doing this, your selfish motives, blah, blah. You're always there's going to be the mockers. So if you're doing something for a community, forget it. You're gonna have a committee against you.
Why is that?
Yin and yang, where there's kedusha, there's klippa. Where there's the good, there's gonna be the challenge. That's life. The Eibishter wants to see in yourself, l'shem shamayim, are you doing it for selfish reasons? Usually a lot of times we get angry. We make a committee against the committee. Good. There's always going to be somebody who's going to challenge you. It's life. That's the way the Eibishter created the world. He created the challenge, as we learned in one of the classes before. He created the Yetzer Hara. All right, keep on trucking. Keep on doing good. Don't get involved. The Gemara says, I'm misnavel. If somebody fights with somebody who's dirty, he's only going to get dirty. If you did a l'shem shamayim, what do you care that somebody else is going to challenge you? Do it for God. It's God's problem. I'm doing something for God and I have a challenge. No. I figure out why did I get this challenge? You don't need to push you forward. Going. Mighty as a lion, mighty is a primary in the heart. To overcome our sinful inclination as a warrior overpowers the enemy, to defeat him and to throw him to the ground. Similarly, we must wake up each morning like a lion, ready to overpower our sinful inclination. The Yetzer Hara is right there when we wake up. And it says you wake up in the morning, God is right there. God is right there, and your Yetzer Hara is right there too. My evil inclination is right next to the bed. Just like God is right next to the bed, the Yetzer Hara is right there too, and they're both wide awake. But the Eibishter is wide awake, and my Yetzer Hara is wide awake, and they're both ready. Ask us to do good, and the Yetzer Hara is telling us, don't go back to sleep. It is. So wake up like a lion. Stand up like a lion. That's where I need to have chutzpah, right? I'm tired. If I was like a lion, I didn't have to look at the Shulchan Aruch and tell him to wake up like a lion. I'm not a lion. The teddy bear. They wake up like a lion. Pussy. Wake up like a lion. Right? Wake up. Get up. You're a lion. The Eibishter made you a lion. Wake up like a lion. Don't be so humble. Be as brazen as a leopard. Don't be so humble. Don't be so. Don't put yourself down so much. Be brazen as a leopard. Let not people laugh at you. What do you care? Somebody's laughing at you. Because somebody's laughing at you. Who cares? If I know I'm doing what is right, and I'm doing a good thing, so what do I care? Somebody's laughing at me. My problem. Wake up in the light of dawn to serve God. And so too we wake in the morning rather than the morning awakens us. Wake up in the morning. The Rebbe says, again, the Mahal by Em is a bittul alakus. The Rebbe says simply, authentic surrender to God is not in conflict with firmness and assertiveness. This is because it's not your firmness and assertiveness, it's God's. That's your mistake. This is similar to the saying of our sages, a servant of a king is a king. The Gemara says, oh, we say, we're the servants of God. Eved melech melech. The servant of the king is the king. You're the servant of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Can't be a better servant than the servant to this to the Eibishter. That makes you a king. The stature of a king doesn't trigger a feeling of self-importance and pride in the servants because he realizes that his stature is due to the king's significance and to the greatness and not his own. Avinu, Jacob, that's why Jacob, in essence, emphasized this whole thing through connecting to sheep. Jacob was given the ultimate challenge. He was in Choron. He was in the Charein Avshalolam. He was in the wrath of the world. Yeah. Charein Avshalolam, the wrath of the world. Charein is wrath. He went to Choron. The Gemara says Choron, the place. Vayetzia Yaakov Shaviel Charana. The Gemara says it's called Choron. Why is it called Choron? Because it's Charein Avshalolam. It's the wrath of the world. I mean, the wrath people were very rough there. Lavan. You're dealing with with evil people, tricksters, evil people, shysters, laughers, whatever. This was not a place for a holy person. This was not a place for a godly individual. We know that because even Abraham, God tells Abraham, get away from there. Bad place. And then Yitzchak sends Yaakov back to this place. Not for a week, not for a month. It's there for 14 years. He knows exactly what he knows exactly. He has to know exactly how to deal with this, how to overcome all this situation, and that's how you overcome it. You want to overcome your doubt, your struggles, the evil inclination, is by surrendering yourself to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. By knowing that you're doing what God wants you to do. And if you know what God wants you to do, you have no fear for anybody. You should have no fear for anybody. Nobody should affect you. Nothing should, because you're doing what God wants you to do. That God had challenges in history. Shalom Aleichem. Those that went against him, he survived them all. They're all not here, and he's still here. So that needs to be there. It's not an easy thing, but we really need to do that. We really need to decide what we're doing is for God, is a purpose, a mitzvah, for example, and therefore there's nothing to be ashamed of. There's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to be think that you're becoming haughty for him. You're doing it for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Go out and do it. And that's what the Rebbe demanded on us. That's why the shluchim went out. Thousands shluchim went out around the world. Was this what the Rebbe wanted? What do you think? It was easy things for guys to go out to places that there was not a Jew there. There was, Baruch Hashem, I got a pretty, not bad. Complain, right? Right? But guys, till today, in places, they still drinking, can't get chalav Yisrael. They can't get any food, etc., etc.
Who chose the place?
Chose this place.
Oh, you chose.
And I asked them for bracha. But you know what I mean? Well, how do you have this? 100 Jews there.
Always Jews.
There's always Jews somewhere.
Always Jews.
Yeah.
They're Jewish. They're Jewish.
I met the young couple. I was in the convention. Young couple in Reykjavik, Iceland.
Yeah.
Reykjavik, Iceland.
Nice warm place.
Nice cold place. Nice cold place. They have a small community there. The closest kosher thing is in Australia, I think. It's part of Australia, not part of Australia. I don't know where is it?
Oh, it's in the north.
No, it's
Australia.
direction near Finland.
Oh, Finland. What else? I don't know where it is.
It's up there.
Reykjavik.
Up there. It's cold.
There's nothing there. There's Jews there. Nothing there. Everything that she has, young lady, young girl, takes all the food there. Everything, it's crazy. Yeah. To get a million. Start to get a million. Slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. There's a lot of tourists there a whole year.
Summer is
Whatever. How do you get these couples to do that? How do you get these guys to do it? And that's how you get it to do it. You teach them teach them who they are. They're not going out there vacation. They're not going out there for themselves. They're going out there to do what God wants them to do, and they do it. And they put themselves aside, and they put their necessities aside. Ultimately, for society, listen. If there's no Jews, then there's nothing going on there. We can send goyim shluchim out there for no Jews. Amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. You got 5,700 shluchim throughout the world. What are they there for? To spread Yiddishkeit. Yiddishkeit. Nobody's rich. Nobody's making millions. Nobody's there to spread Yiddishkeit. It's a beautiful thing. And that's what kept them on their journey. And that's what continued. That's why they grow. Because it's not about themselves. Now we come back to Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu, he's a sheep guy. And suddenly he comes to Esav and he hides his sheep. So the question is, why didn't he just say, I have a lot of sheep? Look how the Rebbe answered that question to number 11. By saying I acquired oxen, donkeys, sheep, maidservants and menservants and maidservants, Jacob wanted to remind Esav of the lofty merits and strengths that would sustain him. By this, he would intimate Esav and keep him from doing what he wanted to do. He did not begin with sheep, which was a symbol of surrender, lowliness, and submission. Because to be intimated, Esav would first and primarily need to hear Jacob's strength. And indeed, Jacob didn't come to Esav and say, "Listen, I'm a holy person." He said, "Listen, Esav, I have oxes. I'm a lion. I'm a lion. I'm a gorer. You don't. I know you think I'm a holy man, but I am just as goring as you are. No, it's interesting. Let's go back a little bit, the previous portion. At what did Yitzchak want to bless Yaakov with? Yitzchak wanted to bless Yaakov the spiritual blessing, that you'll have the blessings of Abraham. What did Yitzchak want to bless Isaac with? I mean, Esau with all the fat of the land. I mean, Yitzchak said, I'm going to give Yaakov. He's a spiritual man. He's sitting in the holland. What does he need to have all the fat of the land? I'll give Esau the fat of the land. I'll give Yitzchak. He'll become a Talmud. He'll stay in Koil his whole life. And that, right? But thank God that Rivka was there, right? Thank God the Yiddish mama, right, was in the story. Thank God she says, "Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you Yidden are going to have to survive off of Esau? In history, are going to have to survive off of Esau? No, you didn't have to have Mishmani Aretz. You didn't have to have the fat of the land. They need to be successful with Gashmias. They need to have the fat of the land. They need to have Gashmias. Because they're going to be able to do Gashmias and Ruchnias together. You're afraid that if Yaakov is giving him the Gashmias, he's going to possibly become Esau? No, Yaakov is going to take the Gashmias, the physical part of the world, and he's going to still be the holy man that he is. Make sure to give a Yid Gashmias. So what happens? I just want to show you what happens. What happens? Yaakov, Siddur says, what's the difference between Yaakov and Yisrael? There's two names that he receives. So the whole week with Yaakov, with a guy who goes out there, works like a meshugana, and does it l'shem shamayim, hopefully, for the sake of heaven. It comes on Shabbos, walk away from everything. We're like the real Jews. Really, the Asa says, stepping on our toes. Should be holy. Truth is, come Shabbos, we separate ourselves from anything in the mundane. We walk away. What happens to Shabbos? Going back. And that's why on Motzei Shabbos, after Havdalah, what do we say? What's the first thing we say after Havdalah on Motzei Shabbos? My friends, you know what we say?
I think, yeah, I got to do my list.
No, we say V'yitu Lecha. After Havdalah, we say V'yitu Lecha. We say the brachas after Havdalah. We say the brachas that Yitzchak gave to Yaakov ultimately. V'yitu Lecha Lakim Mital Hashamayim Mishmane Aretz. We tell Yaakov, we tell the Jew, don't worry, go out to the world. Successful. You should have for the fat of the land. You should have you should be a multi-billionaire. You should be the biggest businessman. Successful. That was the bracha. That's the bracha that Yitzchak agrees. You're right. A Yid, the Yaakov, is gonna do both Gashmis and Ruchnis. He's not gonna separate the physical world from the spiritual world. A Yid is always going to connect the spiritual world and the physical world as one. There's nothing to be afraid to connect them both together. So Yaakov comes and he comes back to Esav. He tells him, I am Baruch Hashem very successful. I'm not only a sheep guy. I have oxes. I have camels. I have businesses. I'm a multi-billionaire. You understand what that means? But I'm still the Yaakov. I'm still a holy man. I still have sheep. I'm still the sheep guy in the middle. I'm still the sheep guy. I'm still the holy Jew. I'm still the Batul Dikayid. Don't be frightened by me having oxes. And indeed, important that Esav know that Jacob had sheep submission. This would tell him that Jacob's strength is not his own. God's strength. But how do we intimidate Asa? Only with strength. If you think you're going to come to Esav as a meek guy, no. Esav needs to be told, I am strong. I am strong because God gave me the strength and God gave me these capabilities and I can do it. And I should do it.
Why does he have to tell Asa he's so strong?
Because that's what Esav understands. Esav understands that the concept of strength, pride, Jewish pride. Esav, that's the way the world is. They hurt them. They step on the meek. We're not meek. We're not ready to be stepped on, and we won't be stepped on.
Is that something to do with the Yetzer Hara as well, or is that just?
Yeah, it's 100% the Yetzer Hara. Well, 100%. The Yetzer Hara is looking for your weakness. Oh, he finds the weakness. He's depressed. The Yetzer Hara loves depression. Oh, the Yetzer Hara loves when you say, I'm nothing. Oh, you're nothing. You're nothing. Why are you doing anything if you're nothing? I'm not nothing. I'm far from nothing. The simple lesson of all of this that Rebbe says in 12:8, we must go out of our comfort zone and brighten up the world. That's it. Stop being so meek. Let's make this world a better world. Indeed, we must first study Torah to prepare ourselves, self-understood. But then we must go out to the world and make the world a brighter place. So we're not going to do it. Nobody's going to do it.
Amen.
And then the Rebbe ends off. I think we're done. Text number 12b. This work is exceedingly critical to our generation. When many Jews are wandering about in spiritual darkness of our exile. We must find them and lead them to the arena of light, the candle of the mitzvah and the Torah of light. This is not just a matter of extending existence, but a matter of saving lives. That's what we need. We need to realize that Pashut, we need to go out there and save lives. Whoever saves one nefesh, one soul of the Jewish people has saved the whole world. Go out there. Don't be embarrassed of who you are. Don't be ashamed of who you are. Don't hide who you are. Let the world know, and especially another Jew know who you are and inspire him to be who he should be. Yes.
So it's this, I mean, basically, this is what the Rebbe has done with sending out all the shluchim.
I said this is that's why I started off.
Is he the first one? Is he the first Rebbe to do that?
Yes.
No.
In an open way like this. Now, all the Rabbeim did it, but in such, listen, all the Rabbeim didn't have the capability. They lived under tyranny.
Yeah.
Rebbe, Baruch Hashem, lived in America, which gave this capability, self-understood. All the other Rabbeim lived under the czars and under communism and pogroms. They had other tzaddis. They had a lot of tzaddis, in general. But the Rebbe felt this generation, that's what the Rebbe said, that this generation, the Rambam says, we're living in a messianic time. And because the Rambam says that messianic time means that there will be a time in history that no Jew will be under tyranny. And that means that after the downfall of communism, no Jew today in the world lives under tyranny. Every Jew is free. Even in Iran, the Jews in Iran are free to serve the Eibishter. They have other issues, but they're free to serve. There's not a country in the world today which a Jew cannot live his Yiddishkeit in freedom.
Amen.
And that's the reality. That's the fact. So for thousands of years, for 2,000 years, over 2,000 years, Yidden lived from the Churban Beis Hamikdash until the downfall of communism. Yidden lived under tyranny in one way or another way. And it brought about a catastrophe for Yiddishkeit and for Yidden. But today we live in a messianic time. We live in the capability to push it, not be ashamed of our Yiddishkeit. And to be proud of who we are, and to show and to be a light to the nations. So here we live in a time to be a light to the nations, and we're hiding, and we're going into hiding. And why are we doing that? It's the only Yetzer Hara, my own Yetzer Hara. Go out there, be proud of who you are, put it out in the public, and especially if what about the Yidden out there? There's millions of Yidden around in our area. You don't have to go to Russia. There's millions of Yidden around your block, in your own neighborhood, that have no connection to Yiddishkeit whatsoever. Trust me, there's in every neighborhood in this city of Boca Raton, there are thousands of Yidden that have no connection to Yiddishkeit, and maybe the connection is waiting for you. And we're embarrassed, we're ashamed, leave it up to the rabbi. No, every single one of us needs to stop being embarrassed and ashamed and hiding who we are. Go out there, and if you can teach an aleph, teach an aleph. I know you're not rabbis, all rabbis, you don't know, but everybody can teach an aleph. Everybody can inspire somebody. Invite him to come to shul. Invite him to a party. Invite him. Everybody. Food, we'll give the food. We made the platform over here on Boca. We made a platform over here, right over here in this Chabad. Bring him. Make a program. Bring your friends. Connect them to you. Don't be embarrassed. Most of us don't do that because for some reason we're embarrassed. That's not a good reason. Embarrassment is not a good reason. Don't be embarrassed of who you are. And if some people ask you, which shul you go to? I go to Chabad, say it underneath your... Right. Be proud of any shul you go to. Be proud. Bring him to shul. Schlep him. Stop with the embarrassment. The time has come to go out and to change the world. Wish you all a wonderful, wonderful week. A wonderful Shabbos. See you all.
Kids have to go get them potted.